In my experience, having the wrong emotion at the wrong time can be a tremendous detriment to getting reasonable rates of return. Now let's take a look at this visual, and I call this visual the tale of two investors. This visual depicts what two different potential investors could have experienced and their outcomes during a period of time from 2006 to 2010. Let's set the stage. Over here on the left, an individual starts with $100,000. And if they had taken that money and split it 60% into the stock market and 40% into bonds, you can see how the blue line travels up and to the right. It gets to a point somewhere between 2007 and 2008, where, as the quote says, "I'm so happy I invested when I did." But then, as we all know, the financial crisis happened, and the value of their investments started to slide. There's another quote here that says, "There has to be a recovery soon." Then there's another quote. As you can see, the blue line drops below to a point where that investor now has less money than what they started with. And their response is, "I can't take this anymore. I'm out." They sell their investments and sit on the sidelines. The other investor continues to ride it out. So here's where you'll see the divergence of the two different investors. Investor that sold after a period of time says, "I'm happy I got out when I did because the market continues to drop." Investor number two is probably concerned that they didn't get out when investor number one did. But if you follow the blue line, you'll see that it eventually recovers. And up to the top right, they end with $111,000 plus. Now, if we follow the path of the individual that sold out, initially they were happy when the market continued to drop. But then they stayed out of the market until a point in time where they said, "I better buy back into the market." But by that time, the recovery had already happened, and you can see over here to the right that they ended with $93,000 plus. So what's the moral of the story? The moral of the story is if you stay invested, eventually you will earn back the money that you lost. The first investor that ended up selling only ended up with $93,000, whereas the investor that stayed put ended up with $111,000. Now, I know it's not easy to stay invested when you are seeing the value of your accounts drop, but that's what we're here for. If you'd like to know more about how we operate, how we help people accomplish their goals, feel free to click the link below and schedule a complimentary consultation with us. Take care, and we look forward to talking with you soon.